Hi. I'd like to start my session. So I'm from Facebook Japan, and I'm in the Blueprint team. So my responsibility is to provide a training with the clients. So before going into the contents, let me explain the blueprint because I'd like you to know about the blueprint. So this, have you ever raise your hand if you haven't heard the word blueprint before. Among audience, if you haven't heard the blueprint yet, so for those, I'd like to introduce my blueprint team. This team is inside the Facebook, responsible for the education. It's not like a Facebook is running the school, but then to the advertisers or to the agency, we explain our products, which is ever changing every day, and giving them the knowledge and how they can leverage the products most effectively. So that is what we are teaching. So about 5 years ago, we created the e-learning platform. So there are about 80 courses in Japanese. For example, about the targeting or about creatives or about the measurement of the effectiveness of the ad. What sort of methodologies are there? And you can learn all those things from the Blueprint platform. If you haven't heard or if you haven't used the Blueprint platform yet, so please register yourself and so that you can take the classes on your tablet or smartphone or PC. And the second Blueprint pillar is offline training. It's a face-to-face training. This session that you are participating in is a Blueprint Spot, which is focusing on a particular topic, but we also provide some one-day workshop to our clients to explain the Facebook products and solution. And the third one, that pillar is the certificate or certification or qualification by the Facebook. So to the specialist of the Facebook and Instagram solutions, we provide official certificates like a planning expert and a buying expert. So there are two types of qualifications, planning expert and buying expert. So going forward, if you want to use the Facebook, Instagram solution in your business to support your client or customers, please consider taking these certificates for your business. So now let me get into the content. So understanding experimental design and Facebook, the understanding of the measurement of the effectiveness, and then the basic philosophy and the KPI. So I am going to cover these topics. So first, we want to talk about Instagram in Japan and what are the correct KPI for the Instagram ad. And the third one is experimental planning methodology. And then fourth is the brand lift survey. And the fifth one is a conversion lift survey. So first, I'd like to talk about Instagram in Japan. In 2010, which was about 9 years ago, there was a big change happened in the market. Do you remember what the change was? It was quite a while ago, so I'd like to talk about this, the high-resolution camera and the screen delivered from the iPhone 4. So in that particular year, this emergence of the iPhone made a big change to the behavior of the users. The iPhones have been providing the okay camera, but then with the iPhone 4, the quality of the camera was improved significantly. So meaning that each one of the users can carry the high quality camera with you all the time in your pocket. So that made a big impact to the behavior as well as the marketing world. So the communication on the mobiles back then was mainly the voice communication, but other than the voice communication, text-based communication was the mainstream. However, once the users have the high-quality camera in their hands, so then visual communication emerged. So this visual, the images and the pictures, photos, the power of the visual is extremely strong. Like you see the visual information on the screen, and it takes about 30 milliseconds to process that visual information in your brain. 13 milliseconds. How long would that be? It's about 0.013 seconds. So it's just a moment. So in the moment, you can recognize the visual information, like color and the shape and the background can be processed by your brain. So this visual communication became a mainstream. So I'd like to confirm with you one thing. So on the screen, I'm going to project some image for 0.013 seconds. So please check and see if your brain can process that. So please watch the monitor. What did you see? Raise your hand if you can tell. What was that? What was that? You were very shy. Probably some red round shape, right? Would you tell me? Apple. An apple, yes. An apple. Even though it's just a fraction of a moment, but the use recognized that the background was white and there was a red apple in the center. So in this way, the impact of the visual information is enormous. Like 30,000 letters worth of the information can be processed in a second. So then that Instagram is a visual platform. So if you are using Instagram, you know that the images and the movies are the focus of the contents. So compared to the Facebook, which is another platform of our company, is more higher with the Instagram. So starting from 2010, in 9 years until last September in Japan, every month, 29 million accounts are logging in. So it's a big platform. It's grown to be a big platform. And then this 29 million is not only the consumer users, but the corporate users are also included. So they connect with the consumers, like Instagram stories, IGTV, shopping, and all these tools are used by the corporate users to connect to the consumer users. For example, stories with Instagram alone, about 500 million stories are generated per day. If we include the Facebook and a message, 1 billion stories are posted every day. And it's available on the Facebook and IGTV, the full screen format can be also used by the corporate customers. So I've been talking about the power of the visual information, and I also talked about what the Instagram and how big it's grown so far. And now that if we want to put the ad on the Instagram, how are you going to set the purpose and how are you going to measure the effect? So let me talk about that.
Facebook Incorporated or the Instagram using the advertisement to make the measurement of effectiveness. There are three elements to it. One is a person-based measurement of effectiveness. Person-based or man-based mobile device are proliferating, and per person has three terminals, three devices of mobile. What happened is that for each channel, that's the person to see channel is very much limited and fragmented because of the various channel to get various type of information. For you marketers, you may be aware that when and how that those marketers can reach to consumers is very difficult to plan, because that many users actually make access to the varieties of channels in a very fragmented manner. So what you have to do is that not to think in channels, but the right person to right timing to provide the right contents of the advertisement. So this is more like a person base to do that effectiveness measurement. Second point, when you place an advertisement, you have to measure the success. For this, you have to actually set and measure appropriate KPI in business. This is another important point. For example, in business, what are the right and appropriate KPIs? Like when you are doing branding in your company, and then that the viewer of the advertisement may cause attitude change or the behavior change. That these are the very important business-related KPIs. If you look at the screen, you may find that various KPIs that you're referring to in your business. When you actually place a digital advertisement, which KPI are you going to use? Or do you have some predefined KPIs in the effectiveness measurement? This situation is what we call that they are lost in KPIs, seeds of KPIs. In order for you to actually find a better way, you have to actually have the set the KPI very close to KGI, and that is this is a message we send to all our customers. As I just mentioned, in business, to resolve the problems in business, you have to actually see the measurable evaluation of how advertisement contribute for resolving problems, and whether or not that indicators are used for the effectiveness measurement and need to be was appropriate or not. There's a company who actually did that. In a daily operations that business or the video advertisement, we think that exposed to the business advertisement, you find something new and something very interesting. But if you actually take that the evaluation as in the last click base, so impression click based, but the effectiveness, I had such the hypothesis, but it was really astounding when we made the review that the video has so much effect and impact, and also the contribute for the attitudes and behavior conversion. So this is why we are actually working on the video analysis. This is an example from Nestle. The last click measurement, which is very common, the method to measure the effectiveness digital, but true effectiveness or the lift conversion, their measurement is only possible for 40%, not 100%. Why is that? Why it happen like this? The last click attribution has a problem. Last click model to the modern consumer behavior, that last click the method cannot track the customers consumers behavior, and I'll tell you why. The problem number one of the last click, because last click doesn't consider the impact that view-through provides. Now the mobile phone, raise your hand if you have two set of mobile phones. Quite many of you have two mobile phones. What about you? Computer, PC. Do you have PC at home, PC in the office? Many. Perhaps that you may have tablet as well. Raise your hand, please. On top of the PCs and mobile phone, as you can see that you have 4, 5, 6 sets of the devices, and this is a reality. And the process goes like this. The person found the product on Facebook. When he goes to the office, in the PC, there's the same the advertisement, the same product and display advertisement, and using Instagram found the same product. And then the internet, when you click or view that the ads, certain ads, and that your interest is very much aroused, so back home, and you actually that turn the TV and that do some consideration. I mean that the searching and consider purchase, and you finally purchase. Now, if you conduct a last click measurement, what would happen? Very last, the all those contributions go to the ad to fetch the person made the last click, so that the this commercials in that the PC commercial found in that the home PC actually take all the credit. But actually, this person has exposed to the many of the commercial for the same product in various devices and media. So whether the last click evaluation is really accurate or not. The second problem is to do with incrementality, pure increment of the advertisement. Now, if the person goes through the purchase journey, and if the retargeting commercial is sent to the person, and the person clicked the viewed, returned the commercials, and repurchase the product, so that based on the last click evaluation, the first search and the last search, the contribution is 50%, 50%. But I have to actually challenge you whether the contribution of the first commercials and that retargeted commercial are the same or not. Presumably, this person did buy the same product without seeing that the retargeted the commercial, so that the evaluation of the commercial measurement only with the last click cannot actually tell that whether the certain commercial has real impact on conversion to the attitude or behavior. The next one is that timing. Of the incrementality, the last click method doesn't consider the importance of incrementality. Now, what is incrementality? You have heard of that jargon before, but the incrementality actually is by showing commercial what incremental effect is provided, like including views. The ad impact need to be thoroughly and appropriately understood so that the incrementary evaluation can be conducted. That is appropriate the approach. Now, the incrementality given by the ad, how can you measure the incrementality? And the reference made to the LIFT survey or LIFT solution. The LIFT solution is for those people who saw that the advertisement and those who didn't. So to see that those people who saw the Instagram advertisement to change their attitude or their behavior to purchase. So this is incremental lift. And the method really the measures that incremental portion. So not only that the direct conversion, but including views through in the middle, that effectiveness, true effectiveness advertisement can be captured. And this is a true sense of incremental solution. The importance of incrementality or the conducting lift solution, there's one thing I have to tell you is that the experimental design method or the concept. Let me actually give you some hint about the experimental design method. Originally, it was formulated based on agricultural evaluation. What mean is that when you are the farmer and when you want to grow some crop, you want to actually grow crop in a short time period with much more yield, understandably. And what is the most important the condition could be the water quantity or the fertilizer. What about the soil and others that the growth of the crop can be actually variated. But if you actually add the plural number of conditions, then you are not able to see what was the most successful factor, be that water or sunshine, days and soils, so that the relationship cannot be actually told or that can understood.
But in this incremental design, so that you change the only one element. So okay, the water, that if we change the water, that it grow better, or soil that contribute to the better growth. So this way, you can identify the causal and effect relationship. So by doing the incremental design, so you can scientifically prove that the attribution of the ad. So that is the lift research, lift survey. So okay, you want to reach these audience. So you randomly separates the target audience. So random is key. So you separate the group randomly and into a test group and the control group. So you show the ad only to the test group. So to these two groups, I mean, other than this displaying the ad, everything's the same. Everything is same, like age and everything. So you mean so that these are truly randomized two groups. So therefore, by showing the ad only to the one group, so that you can tell that whether as actually attributes. So this is a list survey. So you divide the targets into the test group and the control group, and you show the ad only to the test group, not to the control group. And the next, it depends on what goal you want to measure. But if you want to measure the brand effect, then you want to run the same survey to two groups. And if you want to see the sales, you want to take a look at the sales data of these two groups. By doing that, you understand the difference between the two groups, so that you will know that Instagram ad actually attribute to the incrementality or not. So that is a lift survey. So there are three characteristics. So first is very accurate. It's being very accurate. The business effect, like number of clicks or CPR or CTC, but not those alternative effects, but the actual the solution of the issues can be measured, whether that's the ad actually contribute to solve the issues. So, and also it's available for cross-platform, not only the one device, but a PC or a tablet and a smartphone. Across the platform, you can measure the effectiveness. And the third point is that you can take actions based on the result, based on the accurate effectiveness measurement. Then you can make the effective actions in a marketing. By the way, there are two ways to use the lift survey. One is the single cell method. So this is to figure out whether the Instagram ad will create some result or not. You measures the effectiveness. And the second one is a multi-cell. This is mainly used for the optimization. So you show the both creative A and B. So by measuring which worked better, then you can optimize the campaign later on, or you have 3 targets, A and B and C, and which groups performed the most. So then by doing that, you can optimize your campaign. So depending on what issue you have and what you want to measure, you want to use the different cells. And also, so I'd like to talk about how you're going to use them differently based on your purpose of a blunt lift and a conversion lift. So blunt lift survey is to measure the contribution to your brand index. So what can we do with a brand lift survey? So for those who wants to build the acknowledgement of the brand, or for those who wants to promote the understanding of the message of the brand, or to those who wants to improve the constellation and the likeness of the brand. So these three are the possible customers of a brand survey. So you have like a brand raising awareness of the brand and the brand recognition or familiarity and the likeliness. And so this is the marketing funnel. So this brand lift survey can cover throughout all the funnels of a marketing to see the effectiveness of an ad. So in the third step, you distribute the survey. If you are using Instagram or Facebook, in your feed, sometimes you see the survey or poll in your Instagram display, right? So it's not sent to everybody, but it's sent to the people who are inside that control group or the test group. So if you haven't seen it, it's okay. So there are different questions, like for example, do you know X and X? And depending on the advertiser's purpose, the number of types of the question will be different. If you want to know the acknowledgement of the brand, then you ask the brand acknowledgement question, or if you want to like work on middle of the funnel, then you may ask the opinion about a brand, or if you want to work on the bottom of the funnel, then you want to ask for the purchase intent. So therefore, if you share us what kind of a purpose you have, then we can recommend you the best way to use it. For example, this is a use case of the BMW, and to find out the impact of the Instagram ad. So the acknowledgement of the ad as well as the acknowledgement of brand went up by 14 points and 9 points. And in a group of 25 to 34 years old, then the brand acknowledgement was different, improved by 9 points. So you can actually search this kind of effect. So if your goal is to improve the acknowledgement of the brand, then maybe you can utilize the brand lift search or research brand lift survey. So please consider that. And also, you can also check whether the audience took action by watching the ad, if they made a purchase or if they converted. So if you want to know about that, you use a conversion lift survey. So instead of sending a survey or poll, instead of running a poll, you actually compare the result of the purchase, sales from the control group and the test group. By comparing that, you can see the impact of the ad, incrementality. So the benefits of you from the conversion lift survey is that first, you can actually understand the real value of the Instagram ad. Does it actually push up the sales? If you have that question, please use this survey.
Second point is about the attribution model you're using. Some of you are using last click or the such a model. But whether those models really lead to the true understanding and the true measurement of effectiveness of ad. And you are able to use this conversion lift to confirm this. Now, with this result in your hand, your application, web, and online offline sales will be increased. It's the background information. So conversion lift survey or solution. I think it is sheer opportunities for you to learn a little bit about conversion lift. This is the Unext success case. The advertiser had been doing click-based evaluation, but he had a question mark and he wanted to verify whether click-based method is effective or not. Based on click-based, that conversion evaluation was done. For those people who know that the that the advertisement is set or target ABCD, so ad or target were actually classified into 4 patterns. Now that measurement by last click base, this pink, the set A is second best, and that the blue had the highest performance. That is the result of the last click base measurement. So far, so good. So that you are convinced that the best one is the blue, followed by pink and orange and purple. If you believe in click-based measurement and you think that the blue target is the best, so that put so much money, and then the conversion will increase. However, Unext made that kind of double check to see whether click-based is really appropriate or not, and conducted the conversion evaluation based on lift-based. And you see the difference. You may be surprised that the highest performance grew the set 3. As a matter of fact, were not contributing to the conversion. Actually, that set 1 were contributing to that the conversion, and we are able to visualize that. If that understanding was wrong, and then your investment judgment were also wrong. In click-based, that the decision is made to invest more on blue, but in reality, the contribution of blue is only 8%, very low. So you have to understand that. And that is the benefit of the conversion lift solution. So that if you have wrong evaluation of the advertisement effectiveness, and then you maybe worsen your cost to effectiveness ratio, your investment is actually used in vain. So brand lift solution, conversion lift solution, there are 3 methods or there are 3 processes that you can follow. The first one is a managed service. For you to talk with the Facebook person, account manager, if you have account manager to Facebook, so that account manager can assist you to conduct a lift survey in a very detailed manner. This is a managed service method. The second one is team up with a partner company. The Facebook has a partnership with a number of the market surveyor, like a Nielsen, Leonard Brown. So together with those market surveyor to conduct the lift solution, conversion test lift solution. But number three is there are testing solution available. If you didn't know, please search for the test and the analysis solution. For you to individually and personally conduct the test and that analytical tool so that you can actually make access to that result of the risk survey. We only in Japan we are able to do that, the conversion lift solution. If you want to do that, the brand conversion solution, please contact your partner surveyors or that the Facebook account manager directly. So with those processes, the brand lift solution, conversion lift solution can be conducted, and this is said for yourself. And doing survey is not the ultimate goal. What you have to do is that by conducting this survey or solution, there are things that you have to do, think and do. There are 2 points. You have to interpret the result with broad lens, broad perspective. You have to actually dig deeper on why it happened. If that is the result is not satisfactory, you have to actually think with broader perspectives. Make some reference to the kind of root cause analysis, whether that brand awareness is originally high or that other mediums use in a parallel fashion. So that with that the wider perspective, you can actually interpret result, like some external factor to impact that result. And then you may remember that in TV, in the same time period, there's a huge advertising campaign which might have affected that our campaign. There's many factors, many causes you can think of. So you can actually there's a help page of our company which give you some hint that the possible factors affect your advertising campaign. The second one is that work the result should not be accepted as they are. You have to use result to act. So it's more like a feedback. The learning can be reflected for the future action. Based on the result you get, perhaps you can actually modify creative concept, or perhaps that's the certain nature of a certain target have the tendency to act like this and that. With this kind of learning, you are able to formulate an action plan. So this could be a great benefit and outcome of a lift solution, and so that puts lift solution result to your operational or the cycle. Now the summary, by way of a summary, in that measuring the effectiveness of Instagram advertisement, there are two perspectives. One is that the person-based, whether click is appropriate, whether the cookie measurement is good enough, but there's a person-based measurement, effectiveness measurement is now in our industry. And also number two is that you have to really measure the appropriate KPI in business. No, you may actually like that the last click and the CPIs and other KPIs that you favor and you get accustomed to, but there are some other factors, so some that's the KPI, like the viewing time. Whether that's those viewing times or the KPI contribute to the business success. So it's more like a relevance and relationship between the KPI and the possible business the outcome. You have to see whether they match or not. Number three is to understand the importance of incrementality measurement. With this advertisement, there is effectiveness on those people who saw the ad, and there could be a pure incremental. There's a difference between those who saw the ad and those who didn't. So this is a true effectiveness of the advertisement, and these are the three takeaway learning that you have from this session. Instagram advertisement and that effectiveness measurement. If you want to learn more, I'd like to really cordially invite you or encourage you to take that Facebook blueprint course. Let's read this the code. And this is a very short e-learning course. Takes about 15 minutes to learn about the evaluation method of the Instagram advertisement. With this, I'd like to conclude my presentation. Thank you very much indeed. And I'm looking forward for working with you in the future.